Now, speaking of Rob and stuff, because I know you co-wrote this or co-write this too, right? The Real Rob Show on Netflix.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've known him it's probably been about 10 years now. I used to be a radio guy.
Okay.
Not unlike yourself. I was the comedian on a radio show, and then it was in Rochester, New York, which my first son was being born, and so I went home and took a job to be home and stuff.
Okay.
And Schneider called in one day, and I was a huge fan, and it was great, and he was hilarious. And I said something to him like, I'm a huge fan, whatever, I am a comedian. And he said, dude, what are you doing tonight? And I go, nothing. And he goes, why don't you come do a set at my show? And I was like, what? Okay. And so I go to this show. I meet Rob for like 2 seconds in the green room. I was like, oh, that was cool. And I thought I'd never see him again. He went back into his room. They go, yeah, you're going to open for Rob. They go, but we have this improv group that's going to go before you. And they're from the college. It was in college. Sure. They go, they've never done improv before, but we're going to let them go up and do some improv. Then you can go up. And I go, okay. Dude, Pat, if there's comedy in heaven, you get to follow an improv group that has never gone up before. They just had no jokes or anything. And so I went up and people were like, oh my God, pre-prepared material.
What a great moment.
And I heard a guy laughing off stage, and at the end of my set, I walked off, and Schneider watched my whole set. That day, he said, you got to start writing for me, and I think he did. Wow. He was doing like the George Lopez show. He was doing Conan. He had like the roast of Quentin Tarantino, and so I wrote almost his whole set for that, and that's what really got us working together.
Okay, now like writing actually material for stand-up, or just literally like his roast type stuff?
It was at first just roast stuff. It was just a roast, and then he'd do an appearance on TV, we'd write stuff. It just kind of did, and that was just like a one-off. And then Howard Stern went on the radio the next day. He was there, and he said, oh, I love this joke, and like a couple of them were mine. And so Rob was like, oh, this guy's not bad, and so then we just kept doing more and more, and then we wrote the TV show for Netflix.
So smash that subscribe button.